It is that time of year again, folks, and if you're looking for a special gift to give to that special mandolin player in your life, it may seem a little tricky because we mandolin players love to accessorize, and most of us probably already have a fancy armrest, a tone guard, and an arsenal of really expensive picks to choose from, so it may seem like there's not much left to get. Well, you're in luck because I've spent the past couple weeks scouring the internet for some unique, fun, and even a little wacky mandolin-themed gifts and compiled this list here that you can hopefully use this Christmas season or any time of year really to find a perfect little something for that mandolin friend in your life, or let's be honest, even for yourself if you want. And don't worry, even if you're on a budget, we're gonna start off with some pretty cheap stuff and get to some more expensive items as we go along. And we'll start off here with this. A leather pick holder keychain. Every mandolin player has been in that situation where you're at a party and there's a cheap mandolin hanging on the wall. When your friends find out that you're a mandolinist, they coerce you into playing something and you begrudgingly pick up the instrument to undeniably wow them with your 8-string tone and prowess, only to realize they just have thin picks available. You try your best, but because of the terrible thin tone, all your friends leave you for the banjo player next door. Fret no more, you can easily avoid these situations with this leather pick holder keychain. Always have your fancy, expensive picks on hand at the ready. This is a fairly cheap but very useful gift. I found a similar one on Etsy for about $9.99. Next up, also coming in around $10, is a very special gift from our friends at Northfield Mandolins. Nothing says you're a mandolin nerd more than having a plethora of mandolin-shaped cork coasters to distribute around your household. They come in this very nice burlap sack, and there's actually 6 of them. There's 3 in the shape of F5s, and then 3 in the shapes of A5s. Very excited about these, and I'm sure you'll see them in a lot of upcoming videos. And while we're at it, there we go. And while we're on the topic of beverages, might as well add this to the list as well. This is a classic Mandolin Cafe coffee mug, complete with I think around 21 chord fretboard diagram shapes on here. Perfect for anyone who likes to run through 2-5-1 changes with their morning coffee. Dare I try this? Not bad. You can grab this over on the Mandolin Cafe website. They even have a smaller mug that's a little bit cheaper. There's links below to all these items, by the way, and no sponsors as always. For our 4th item here, this is a mandolin gadget that I had never heard about before, but was very excited about. This is a harmonic suppressor by the Montana Lutherie. And instead of getting those kind of ugly rubber grommets and sticking them behind the bridge on those strings to block some of the harmonics that are coming through, this is a beautiful ebony piece of wood that has some rubber attachments and some felt to mute the strings in a much more fashionable way. So instead of having this mad mess of noise ringing out while you're playing, just snap this on the back. And there you go, it's all muted up now. Way different, right? Pretty cool, right? I might have to do a full review video about this item at some point. And you know, Montana Lutherie is actually founded and run by Bruce Weber, who used to make Weber mandolins. So it's really nice to see some stuff still coming from the Weber name. And at only 20 bucks, I think this is totally worth checking out. Next up, this is a deep cut right here. Check this out. It's a Mandolin World News t-shirt. Mandolin World News was a magazine that was founded by David Grisman, Todd Phillips, and Daryl Anger back in 1976. And it was a publication just jam-packed full of mandolin stuff about the players, about the music. Such a cool thing, but sadly it was discontinued in 1984. So you can't really get your hands on the magazines anymore, much less the merch that they printed with this cool design. But I just found this website called musicsnow.com that is offering reprints of this design on t-shirts and hoodies. And this was actually pretty cheap. It was only $23.93 with shipping included. And it's pretty quality. For any mandolin player who wants to show off some deep street cred to their other mandolin friends, this would be an amazing addition to your wardrobe. Item number 6 on this list is a physical metronome, a perfect subtle gift for a friend or bandmate that maybe needs to work on their timing. This is actually the first physical metronome that I've owned, and I'm realizing the benefit of having kind of an actual object in your room, a visual reminder to work on your timing. And this thing is loud. Check this out. And there's a lot of options out there for physical metronomes, but I think this one came in around $25.99. Oh man, next up, this one is one of my favorites. This is a hat that has Bill Monroe's mandolin serial number on it. That is so nerdy, isn't it? Oh my goodness. You can grab one of these hats in a variety of colors over on the Lessons with Marcel website. And if you don't know Lessons with Marcel, you have to check out his channel here on YouTube. Marcel Ardaz is one of my favorite YouTubers, has some incredible flat picking guitar lessons, and just has some really fun videos on bluegrass commentary that anyone would enjoy. And I'm so glad that he came up with this hat. It is such a flex and definitely worth checking out. In fact, be sure to subscribe here to the channel because Marcel and I have some collaboration videos coming out real soon that'll come out here on the channel as well as over on his that you don't want to miss out. Should probably put this on for the rest of the video too. There we go. Next up, for the curious-minded mandolin player, this would be an amazing gift. David Grisman's Mandolin Workshop. And these are new books that recently came out over on the Acoustic Disc website, and they're collections of David Grisman's articles that he wrote for the Frets magazine back in the day. And there's actually two editions. One is about artists and repertoire, and one is about tricks of the trade, technique, and all sorts of cool stuff like that. And these are just jam-packed full of interesting articles, full of music transcriptions, amazing stuff that I'm very excited to go through. They come in at $28 a piece, which is a pretty good deal for the amount of stuff in here. And you can even buy these in PDF form if you want a fast way of getting your hands on these. And speaking of education, shameless plug here, but if your mandolin friend is looking to learn in the new year, why not sign them up for an annual membership over on my Patreon page, where there's literally hundreds of mandolin transcriptions in tab and notation. There's recordings, there's lessons, and a growing community of around 3,000 other mandolin players. So might be worth checking out. And for as little as around $30 a year, could make a good gift. But back on to the real items on this list. And next up, this one is a ringer. This one might be my favorite out of the entire batch. It's a sweatshirt that says Sam Bush is my daddy, which is hilarious on multiple accounts because I look up to Sam as kind of a father figure in my mandolin playing, but also he looks very similar to my real dad too. I got this for $32.57 on an Etsy store called Monroe Street Mercantile. And this wasn't the only funny thing that they had. They had a wealth of fun stickers with really strange niche inside jokes about specific bluegrass players, all sorts of stuff that you have to check out. I'll put a link below. That is just too good. Oh my goodness. On to something a little more practical here with this next item. This is a Hercules mandolin stand, and they market it as a ukulele stand, but don't be fooled. This is a mandolin stand, and it comes in at $35.17. This has been a recent addition to my studio, and it's the safest mandolin stand that I've ever used before. If you've been on stage and there's nothing on there but guitar stands, you know the precarious operation of trying to put your mandolin on one of those things and being scared to death that it's gonna topple over and break. But no more with this stable stand here. You have a tripod protective foam on the bottom and a locking headstock claw, which means that as soon as your mandolin's in here, it's not going anywhere. And for the history buff mandolin friend in your life, this is the perfect gift. The Life and Work of Lloyd Allier Lohr by Roger H. Siminoff. And if you don't know who Lloyd Lohr was, he was the guy who invented this F5 mandolin shape when he was working at the Gibson Company back in the 1920s. And he was a man really ahead of his time. We owe so much to him in the mandolin community. And this book documents a lot of interesting things about his life and work. So check it out if you're interested. Roger Siminoff is also an amazing luthier and has done so much for the mandolin community and is worth supporting his efforts here. This book is $49.95, a little bit expensive, but such an interesting read. So many fun things here. Christmas definitely came early for me this year with this video, which is really nice. But let me know in the comments below if there's any other mandolin themed items on your Christmas wish list. And if you're still looking for something else, be sure to check out this other video right here on screen of 7 mandolin accessories that I think every mandolin player should have. And I'll see you over there real soon.